Hello, dear friend. This is your weekly horoscope for March the 29th through April the 4th. Yes, we are already in the next part of the year, the next month. And we are starting this week right after the full moon, which happened on Sunday, which means that this week represents the third phase of the lunar cycle. This is still an active time, but keep in mind that the energy gets a little lower and lower towards the end of the week. So we may notice that at first we are more oriented on external things, outer goals, and the more we get towards the end of the week, the more internal your focus may become. And actually, that's kind of like to go with the flow of the lunar energy cycle. This is also the time to share with you that I have two great news. The first thing is that I have created a new calendar for April, completely free. It's a creative astrology calendar, which means you will find which are the most creative days during April so that you can plan according to that if you want to be more creative. So that's free and you can check it below the video. The other news is about a brand new course, which I have already created. It's all about moon predictions. You will learn about new moons, full moons, the lunar cycle, different moon positions, and very interesting, it also includes a webinar, live webinar, which will be about lunar return charts around the end of April. So check the links and join us now if you are interested in this information. Now, let's start with Monday. And we actually have a really exciting aspect on Monday. Mercury is joining Neptune in Pisces. This is incredibly creative combination. It's not part of our calendar because it's March, but I would definitely include this one for creative days. So, great time for your imagination, for your inspiration, for having some ideas that are more intuitive, and also great time to relax your mind for spiritual practice, meditation, doing some yoga, and anything else that will relax your mind. The aspect may affect positively also communication, negotiations. People might be more understanding, more compassionate, more sensitive. On the other side, we also have a positive aspect between the Sun and Uranus, which can help us to be also really creative, to be more innovative, to make some changes, to try new things, to experiment. And even when it comes to financial decisions, the aspect might be quite helpful when it comes to some personal initiatives or taking action or even taking certain risks. This combination can really support you. And the moon is in Libra, which allows us to focus on the balance, on relationships, on communication, and overall also to enjoy the atmosphere around us. This is really one of the best days during the week. As you can see, it's beneficial basically for every life area. Then on Tuesday, we continue with the positive aspects. Venus is having a positive one with Saturn. This combination can really help us to feel more stable, to bring more stability in our relationships, to also have some successful negotiations, especially business negotiations. Financial decisions might be very appropriate, very logical, and you can just evaluate whatever you are focusing on very precisely. It might be related to your business, to your financial situation, to your relationship. Venus and Saturn can really help you to have this accurate judgment. So, stability, reliable partners, and security are some of the major topics. Mercury also has a positive aspect with Jupiter. This one is really great for learning, for opening your mind for new ideas, for some inspiration. I wish I can say for traveling. So maybe it's possible for some of us. For the most, I know it's not yet, but hopefully it will pass soon. But at least making some plans for the future is definitely a possibility of how we can use this aspect. Successful negotiations, successful communication, interesting ideas that may also bring success and abundance. So it's a pretty nice aspect. And the moon is in Scorpio. So here the situation gets more intense and kind of like emotionally charged. The moon in Scorpio can help us to be more passionate, more concentrated, more focused. But there is also the possibility that sometimes we may overreact or we may dramatize. And it's really important to respect other people's boundaries. By the way, Venus Saturn's aspect also, it's a positive aspect, but it still brings the need for some kind of healthy boundaries. So respect the decisions, the emotions of other people. Be more careful when you connect and communicate with them. On Wednesday, the sun has a positive aspect with Saturn. So it's also very beneficial for business, for planning, for being more organized, more concentrated and dedicated to certain projects. For business and work, it's amazing. For some kind of personal projects as well, even for some kind of community goals or projects that include a whole team working on them, the aspect can help you to move forward in those areas as well. On the other side, Mercury has a minor challenging aspect with Uranus. So we need to be more careful in our communication. There might be some dynamic situations there. We may also have interesting ideas or sudden insights or unexpected solutions may come up. But be careful with your reactions, with the way you express your ideas. With financial decisions, you may also need to be more careful because there might be some kind of impulsive or sometimes irrational decisions, which may or may not be appropriate. The moon is in Scorpio on Wednesday, which still brings this intensity and focus and dedication, and also sometimes too strong emotions or certain level of heaviness. That's just the energy of the Pisces moon. And that's just like the most intense days during the whole month. So we need to face this energy and process that. On Thursday, Mercury is having a minor challenging aspect with Saturn, which can bring certain issues in communication, in some kind of project or planning or the work that we want to focus on. There could be either some delays or things we haven't really planned that require more effort. And also, there might be certain distance between people, like everyone trying to like keep their own place and not really interfere with others. So respect the boundaries of other people. And if you catch yourself in more pessimistic thoughts, keep in mind that that's probably Saturn's energy and it will pass. Just try to be more precise, more accurate. This is a nice aspect to um, revisit certain things or your work and try to find some mistakes so that you can fix them. The aspect can support this type of work. The moon is in Sagittarius, which can actually help with the challenging Saturn energy. So it can bring a little deeper understanding or ability to see the whole picture. So we don't focus too much into tiny details that are kind of disturbing, but instead we focus on the bigger meaning, the bigger picture, our long-term goals overall. But the day may not be as productive as the previous few days. On Friday, things look completely different. Mercury has a positive aspect with Pluto, and this aspect can really help you to be concentrated, to be focused, to be dedicated to your work or your projects or the plans that you have made. You can be passionate and excited, and you can also make some important transformations. This aspect really allows to influence more other people, to kind of like make other people listen to your message. And I don't mean like forcefully make them, it's just that usually the messages are more powerful, so people tend to pay more attention, especially when there are some important questions discussed. And at work, in business, even when it comes to creative work, this aspect can bring passion and inspiration. Business negotiations are also supported on Friday. And the moon will be in Sagittarius, which can allow you to think long term, to focus on your goals, on a bigger vision or picture, to be more optimistic, to be more excited about your work. So, overall, the day is really, really productive. On Saturday, Mercury will ingress Aries. So, the communication changes, the way we connect with other people changes. Also, the way we process ideas also will change. And Mercury in Aries brings more dynamic energy, so things can happen faster in communication when it comes to planning or some kind of intellectual projects and tasks. Keep in mind that Mercury in Aries may also be impatient. So that may affect again the communication or the work you are doing. And sometimes that's great. In other cases, that could be tricky. So, of course, it depends on how we use the energy. Just be aware of the fact that you may rush a little bit too much or be more impulsive in terms of the decisions you make or the way you respond to other people. And the other thing is that Mercury in Aries is not a really good listener. So, in communication, you may need to pay more attention to that. Uh, Usually, Mercury in Aries wants to tell their own story, their own truth. They're more focused on themselves, and the dialogue may not be so constructive. So, if you're negotiating, if you're communicating in work, in whatever way, just be aware of that. People are a little bit more self centered and not so open to listen to others. So you may need to clarify things or be a little bit more cautious with that. The moon is in Capricorn on Saturday, which brings a serious energy and atmosphere, which is helpful for work, for taking care of some responsibilities or some obligations, doing something that will be long lasting and permanent. Usually, it's not like the most fun time. So instead, it would be better if we kind of like do something that's important, even if it's not the most fun. And on Sunday, Mercury has a creative aspect with the North Node. It's interesting that Mercury is the ruler of the North Node in Gemini, so that's like a double connection. And this aspect may bring certain changes when it comes to our plans and ideas. So just a wonderful time for some brainstorming, for some reassessment, for allowing yourself to be more creative, to do something in a different way. And the moon is in Capricorn, which can also help you to be more responsible, to be more precise, more constructive, and to really focus on the things you should do. So that's our weekly horoscope, the week ahead in astrology. And that's how you can take advantage and plan the week in the most beneficial way for you. Don't forget, if you are interested in being more creative, download the free creativity calendar below. And also, if you want to align with the cosmic energy of the moon, if you want to be even more creative and productive and use the energy of new moons and full moons, and very interesting part to learn how to use your lunar return chart each month. You will get all of this in the brand new course. Everything is recorded for you and ready to use immediately and to watch. It's more than 4-hour videos. Only the lunar return chart will be a live webinar at the end of April, also available as recording after that. And in this way, you can join me live if you can, and we can discuss. And I will show you how you can calculate your lunar return chart, what's the information you can find there, how to prepare for the lunar return, and some other interesting stuff. So, thank you very much for joining me. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and I will see you soon.